Hey, what's up dreamers? Welcome back to the channel and to a new series here in City Skylines 2. This is Zelena. Welcome to my first new episode here in City Skylines 2. This is going to be my first ever build right here in the new game. So please bear with me as I 1. Learn the new game, and 2. Basically play vanilla. I'm so much more used to playing a really modded game in City Skylines 1, so this is going to be a big transition for me. So if you have any recommendations for me or see that I'm making mistakes, please put it down to the comments so that I can address those things and fix them early on. Now, all that being said, I want you to meet Alex. Alex is a city planner from the country of Verdonia. The nation recently fell into a large amount of wealth, and their cities became overpopulated. So they sent Alex to discover a new location to start building a brand new city. And this is the location that he chose. It's a simple valley with plenty of green space and forest and a river running through it for water access. Upon choosing the location for his new city, of course, he had to reach back to the president and the government of the country. Immediately, they started building roads from the capital and building access to the new land. Now, if you want to get the full backstory to this new build, you can go check out my most recent video. I'll put a tag right here at the top of the screen, as well as there will be a pinned comment down in the comments below and a link in the description. So to start off with, Alex knew that he had to get down a road layout and a foundation for the core of the city. So the Verdonian government allotted Alex $500,000 to basically get his feet off the ground and get his city started. This was to cover the initial road layout, road maintenance, as well as the essential services that he would need. We're going to go with a main square kind of downtown area where the center of the city is going to be. All of our commercial and eventually some touristy type areas, and hopefully along with mixed use. And then we're going to kind of spread everything out from that point. Alright, so this is kind of the layout that I came up with. Basically, in the top left, you have the area where we're going to eventually build our residential, and it will start out as low residential. And then in the center, you're going to have all of our commercial, along with mixed use and potentially bigger apartments. And then on the bottom, right towards the river, is going to be our industrial area. But before we can lay down any of our buildings, Alex knew that he had to get in his essential services: power, sewage, water. Due to the abundance of aurorite in the country, Verdonia produced an enormous amount of renewable energy. So reaching back to the capital, Alex knew that he would need to outsource his energy, at least initially to start out. And fortunate enough for him, President Biden agreed. Therefore, major power lines were ran from the capital down to the new area. All it was left to do was hook it up to a power substation, and then connect it to a road running into the grid. Next, Alex knew that he needed to get water into the city. Fortunately, there was a river right nearby. And this is exactly why he wanted to build here, so he could use that precious resource and to pump water straight into the city. And with that, he fulfilled President Biden's initial requirements to become a tiny village. See, to make sure that Alex was staying on track, President Biden gave him several different milestones. And with each milestone, the government would provide more money and more resources. He also wanted to give Alex the flexibility to advance the city in areas that he believed would be most beneficial. Therefore, as he grew the city, he was awarded development points. Knowing that he wanted to get train access and parks to the city, Alex decided that he would save the development points until he reached those milestones. Next, we need a way to tackle sewage. Not really the best option, but the only option for right now will be sewage outflow pipes. With more development of the city, this will eventually change. And with all of our essential services in, zoning was approved and construction began on the new city. It didn't take long for a small town to start taking shape. Word got out to the people in the capital that brand new housing and job opportunities opened up in this new land called Zelena. And slowly but surely, people started to come. So, before the city grows any further, let's establish some areas of interest. As low residential is in demand, we will continue to grow it out from the heart of the city. Industrial will stay down near the river, and eventually getting its own connection to the highway. Commercial, mixed use, and also mid to high residential will grow out from the main square and up. We want to leave a few areas for the parks, as well as an eventual train station coming into downtown. Being that it's summer, it's a perfect time to plant some trees in the open green spaces downtown. Personally, I'm used to highly detailed cities, so I want to throw in some smaller details wherever I can. With the population already over 100, the city desperately needed a few more things, like healthcare and garbage services. So, added to town was a small clinic, and a place to bury the dead, and a new trash dump. Our little town is starting to hum along. I just wanted to give some credit to the devs here. This is my first time seeing all of these assets. And for the vanilla game, they look pretty good. You could tell that a lot of time and attention to detail went into these graveyards. A small complaint that I still do have though is they still didn't fix the parking lot entrances. I guess you're expected to still just drive up onto the curb. Despite that though, I still think it looks great. A much more realistic vanilla game than its predecessor. Due to the success of the first citizens of Zelena, more people wanted to come, and demand for all areas was high. So, it was time to expand. And with more roads, more zoning was approved. To include medium residential around town square. And more industrial down by the river. More buildings means more population. And more development points. And a new milestone. Small village. The federal government has now approved more medium density housing, the right to govern our people with taxation policies, and the availability to education. We also now have 3 development points, which we are saving for transportation services and parks and recreation. With a lot of commercial demand, let's expand the main street running through town. And add commercial zoning. More businesses means the need for more industry providing goods. However, we need more space to expand the industrial area. Alex reached out again to the state and requested building permits to expand the city limits. And with more land, more money was spent. More roads were laid. And more industrial zoning was approved. To help prevent the inevitable future of traffic, Alex wanted to give dedicated highway access to the industrial area. But this time, he didn't receive approval for the highway ramps. The president told him that he would need a population of at least 89,700 residents and reach the milestone of a small city. So it would be a while until he was able to add that to the city. As one demand went down, another rose, and Alex was eager to expand the city. Most of the industrial workers lived in the residential neighborhood. Matthew Jones, a worker at one of the factories in town, petitioned for easier access from the residential area to the industrial area so that they wouldn't have to drive through downtown. Alex liked the idea himself, and he made it happen. People began moving to Zelena by the hundreds, and Alex knew that it was time to build a higher density neighborhood. And continue adding to the low residential. Man, this city is really coming together, he thought to himself. And so did the president, because he now reached the 3rd milestone, large village, which means more money, 3 new development points, and a bunch of new services. For the time being, Alex had been living in a small house within the main neighborhood. He thought it was finally time to build his own house, a landmark within the city. Being someone who loves nature, he decided to plant a bunch of new trees around his home. For this city, regular industry wouldn't be enough. The land here was very fertile, so Alex approved some farming to reap some of those natural resources. Hey, this is me in the edit. Sorry, I totally forgot to mention and show it in the video, but I did put an elementary school right here. With that recent milestone, we got rights to more services. And it was time that Alex brought law and order to Zelena. And along with that, fire protection. Wow, this city is growing fast and actually starting to take shape. And looky there, a new milestone. And one that grants us transportation. It's time to bring trains to Zelena. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up our first episode. If you're still watching, I really hope you enjoyed it. Please give some more recommendations for how you want to see the city grow. Do you like the video style, and what are your thoughts on City Skylines 2 so far? Put it all down into the comments. And if you don't have anything to say, at least drop an emoji for engagement. In the next episode, we're going to keep growing the city and adding in train connections, parks, and more services. Thanks again for watching guys, and we will see you in the next one.